and welcome to the Worst Movie Ever Made, an experimental movie podcast designed with one thing in mind: to find the worst movie ever made. I'm your host, Chris Hockman, joined by my co-hosts and fellow mad scientists, Rob Scucci and Bob Hasek. Hey guys, how are you and why are we doing this?
Hey, we are doing well. I was actually told by a student today that I gave her brother the first advice to go to school for computers, and he did.
Wow,
So
that's cool.
It's amazing. So go ahead, give me your self-loathing follow-up comment.
So you know those memes you see online that it's always like some chick in her 40s like holding a sign saying like my student loans were $90,000 and I've been paying him in full every month and I still owe $120,000. And
Sure.
In your head, you're like, well, wait a minute, because that's not how interest works. And even if it was, you signed it willingly, that contract. So why are you complaining? The mild irritation I get from seeing those memes is like the looming like feeling I've had in my underbelly since like I watched Spawn. Where it's just like you figure out why you're irritated by it, but it's just like something. It's not adding up. It doesn't make sense. What you're saying is not true. It's just you're throwing shit on a wall and it's all sticking.
Yes, I understand, and I actually I watched this again with my buddy Phil. So I watched it for the pod, took my notes, and then my friend Phil came over last weekend, and we had some drinks and we watched Spawn. So I saw it twice, right. and then I did the outline where I watched the clips again to make sure the timing was right, all that stuff. So I've effectively seen the movie 3 times since last week. Okay. So if I'm a little off this week, it's because I'm now dead inside.
Yeah, mild brain damage.
Right, may never recover.
I think I saw my nightmares the night after I watched it, so that counts as seeing it twice, right?
Yeah.
Yes, definitely. You guys want to jump into some bad reviews?
Yeah, let's do it.
Get this thing started. Okay, so Lisa Allspector of the Chicago Reader says, this hopelessly redundant action gross-out aspires to be to a form of vacuousness and may achieve it.
Okay.
It is, it's vacuous. There's
well said.
Nothing. Yeah. Mick LaSalle of San Francisco Chronicle. Oh, she gave. I'm also writing down the Metacritic scores because that's kind of fun too. She gave it a 25.
All right.
And then Mick LaSalle of San Francisco Chronicle says, almost every moment has flashes and explosions and a pulsating, relentless soundtrack. It's like being trapped inside a video game.
Yeah.
He gave it a 10 out of 100, which is more appropriate in my mind. And I just want to, I want to say RIP to Roger Ebert. And I don't mean like rest in peace because you've left us. I mean, like, we're not going to him for opinions for a while. You guys want to guess what he gave his his score on Metacritic was for this movie out of 100?
2.
I'll say 22.
88.
Yeah.
He gave Spawn an 88 out of 100. He liked the special effects and thought they were effective actors, and so we're going to take a little break.
Mm-hmm.
Roger Ebert and the worst movie ever made. We're going to take a little hiatus, so he can have a nice breather, and we'll come back to him in a few weeks. Because he does not deserve to be on the pod for a couple weeks after that, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Any YouTube comments, Rob?
Yeah, I have 3 of them. I'll read them quickly because they're all in line with what Roger Ebert said. Best superhero movie pre-2003. Easily the best superhero movie of the 90s. Leguizamo as the Violator and Jay White as Spawn are 2 of the best comic book movie castings of all time. And I loved how the film touched on fairly deep themes of how even the smallest choice can have the gravest consequence and how sometimes we must give up what we need in order to keep safe and happy the ones we love. Parentheses, done 7 years before Spider-Man 2 tackled that theme. And every time I emphasize, those were all caps. Next review. This movie was revolutionary. Before Blade, before The Dark Knight, before Black Panther. For me, he's still the coolest looking and interesting superhero. He deserves a better movie. And finally, the most underrated superhero movie ever made. Leguizamo was amazing. The animated series was so good, the movie fell flat with a lot of people simply because it couldn't fit everything in. Yep, by tonight I'll be watching the animated series set, then the movie. The new movie can't come out fast enough.
So that must have been a recent one.
Yes.
I didn't know they were doing a reboot, but as I showed you guys, I texted you a picture. I have 1, 2, and 3. Like my aunt gave me, I believe, many moons ago. But they're still in plastic and they're in decent condition. So maybe maybe if that movie does really well, I can sell those comics because I don't care about them.
Yeah, I have a bunch of comics that I had from a kid, and like my parents, like, you want to hold on to them? I'm like, no, like, just give me the one where Spider-Man dies, and I'll get like $15 for it, and then I'll buy a record for like $8, and then the rest you could just like line the birdcage with or something.
Yeah, listen, sis, my aunt, I realized that was rude. You gave me these comics out of the kindness of your heart. I've been holding on to them in plastic and taking very good care of them. They're in great shape. I'll never sell them. I swear to God, I'll never sell them. All right, let's do test number 1, the worst of its kind.
Okay.
And I went to IMDb for all of the movies. I didn't use the streaming service because I find IMDb just works better for me.
Yeah.
So these are the 5 movies that I got off of IMDb that are like Spawn. And we took the critic scores on Rotten Tomato for all 5 of those, and we averaged them out. And then we compare it to the movie in question. Not only do we take a look at the difference between those to get kind of a feel for how bad this movie is, but we also decide, well, we take a look and see if it's the worst of its kind out of all 6. So let's do test number 1, the worst of its kind.
Is this film the best of the worst or the worst of its kind?
You guys think I'm at the point where I don't have to explain it anymore?
Let's just go into it. I think.
Next week I'm just going to go into the test.
Yeah, just test number 1, slide whistle.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, the first one is The Pest. This is John Leguizamo.
Okay.
Rob, you asked me before the pod,
Yeah.
and then told me not to answer so that I could answer on the pod. What else Leguizamo's in? It's not a filmography that you should be all that proud of, in my opinion. But I don't think that I actually don't think he's that bad. Bob, maybe you can help me here. I know he's in Super Mario's Bros. He's in The Pest. He was actually more recently in the Waco series, and he was good in that.
Okay.
He's in Tu Wang Fu or whatever that one is, where he and Wesley Snipes are cross dressers. Which was considered to be a progressive movie at the time. And
right.
I don't know if it was critically acclaimed, but I know that it had some good buzz.
Okay.
So I don't know. It's kind of a coin flip with him. I actually don't think he's that bad. Even in this movie, I don't think he's that bad. It's just a horrible script for him.
He's enthusiastic.
No, he's fantastic. He's one of my favorite actors in terms of like energy. And yes, his script in this movie was horrible. He had nothing to work with, or should I say, he did the best he could with what he had to work with. Have you seen The Pest?
No, but it is.
I have not in a long time.
So I can tell you what it got on Rotten Tomatoes.
When I worked at a video store that had just come out, and we watched it, and it wasn't a good movie, but I couldn't take my eyes off of him. He was so just engaging. So yeah, I love him, even if he's in a bad movie.
Cool.
Well, it got an 8.
Okay.
The Crow with Brandon Lee, that's the 94, I believe it was.
That's the only good one, yes. It's the first and the best.
Okay, I haven't seen any of them. But that one got an 85, which is a nice high score.
Deserved. That's like a good movie episode candidate for sure.
Okay, all right. Yeah, maybe somewhere down the line we'll do that one. Wesley Snipes in Blade, 57. I like it. I understand it's not that good. It's another one of those like 90s, my wheelhouse kind of movies.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, Christopher Lambert stars in Mortal Kombat, which we did as a pilot episode. We'll have to do that one with Bob and really dissect it.
We should.
A 45 there. And then, of course, 13 Ghosts, which was a previous episode on the pod, got a 17, if you remember. That's Matthew Lillard, a friend of the pod, good buddy of the pod. So altogether, the average is a 42.4. You guys want to guess what Spawn got?
Based on what I read on YouTube and what Roger Ebert said, I'm guessing like in the 60s. Like unjustly, but I think it got like a higher score.
I feel like based on what Chris read, though, it's got to be closer to 35.
Well, Bob, you doubled the score, essentially. It was a 17. A 17 on Rotten Tomatoes. That is a negative 25.4, but unfortunately, because of your favorite movie, The Pest, Bob, it is not the worst of its kind. So
all right.
We have our first score, negative 25.4, and not the worst of its kind. I've already plugged that in, so we're going to move right to test 2, the plot pitch. So I'm going to try to sell Rob and Bob, my two producers on this movie. I'm going to try to get the budget for this script that I read. I really like it. So I'm going to try to pitch it to these guys in the elevator and see if they will agree to make it. And then for future pitches, they're going to give me a star grade to see how I did. So we'll jump into test number 2 now, the plot pitch.
Hey, oh God, hey, man. Hey, what? You want to hear my movie idea? No. 3, 2, 1, jack off.
All right, fellas. I've called this meeting at the elevator to propose an opportunity of a lifetime. The first ever movie without a plot. We all think we need a story, but nope. We need action. We need special effects. We need Spawn. That's right, comic book anti-hero Spawn. We throw Spawn into a battle for something, somewhere, for some reason, and we never get to the point. The beauty of it is that we can spend the entire 90 minutes explaining the plot like there is one, when there isn't. At the end, you can't be disappointed because nothing happened. $40 million. Just $40 million. That's all I need. $40 million. What do you guys say?
This is the first time I'm going to pass on it.
I don't know though. What year is this? 97?
Yeah.
95? Okay, no plot. Sounds like Seinfeld. I'm in.
Point,
all right,
point.
we did a little reverse. I think last week Bob said no, and Rob said yes. So interesting. Okay.
I'm sticking to my no because no one got hit by a car by someone who didn't have insurance, and no one's judge made that guy become the other guy's butler. So we're just gonna pass on that.
Star grade?
2.
Same, ditto, 2.
Okay, well, that makes it easy. I don't have to try to average that out. All right, I'm just going to jot that in. We got a yes from Bob and a no from Rob and a 2 on the star grade. Okay, cool. So we have that out of the way. Now a listener has a grip on what actually happened in that movie. Nothing. We'll toss it to test number 3, the worst dialogue. So what we do here is go 10-1, the best of the bad, all the way up to the worst lines of dialogue in the movie. Then we're going to see if it's worse than Hackers, the first movie, and the worst movie of the season so far. So test number 3, the worst dialogue.
The worst movie ever made presents the worst dialogue ever made.
Okay, starting with Violator, that's the clown guy, to Spawn. He says, when I'm done with you, they're going to call you, they're going to change your name to Stain. I asked Rob before the pod if I should try to do the impression. He said go for it. I hadn't practiced it, but I'm going to stick with it. So I'm going to poorly do the impression for the rest of the pod.
No, that's not good, actually.
Oh, thanks. When I'm done with you, they're going to change your name to Stain, he says.
Yeah.
I felt that was very flat and lacking. It doesn't sound like Spawn.
Yeah.
It's if Stain and Spawn are the two words that you have, and you're thinking Stain is a okay replacement for Spawn, you're wrong.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound like it at all, just because it starts with S.
Yeah.
Anyway, there were probably 30 other lines that I could have put in spot number 10.
Okay.
But I felt like I had an explanation for why that one sucks so bad.
Cool.
Number 9, Spawn says, "Where am I?" Right? I'm going to do my Batman. And Zach, the kid, says, "Rat City, part of the alley. I sleep over there." So when he is like teleported to Rat City, which we're going to get into the ridiculous physics and junk science of this one later, but Rat City, right off the bat, it didn't matter what Zach said after that. It's called Rat City.
Yeah.
So it comes in at number 9. Number 8, this is Clown again.
Okay.
Every time someone farts, a demon gets its wings.
I was happy when I was 9 years old or 8 years old. I mean, that was the last time I was happy. So also there's that. This might have something to do with it.
Possibly. Number 7, getting worse all the time. Bob, you had something to say?
No, I would say every one of the clown's lines starts to sound the same after a while.
Yeah, no kidding. something about his shit. Number 7, Priest. If you don't remember, that's the redheaded assassin working alongside Michael J. White in the beginning. Priest says, "It's a little early for Halloween, Simmons." And then Spawn says back, "Where you're going, every day is Halloween."
Yeah.
That's as bad as it gets.
Yeah.
But not really, because there's 6 more. 6, Cagliostro, who you mentioned before, the old guy who's not really old, Bob, is explaining he's doing his best James Earl Jones, right? That's definitely something I wrote in the catch-all, but I'm just going to mention now. Cagliostro, when he's doing his narrating voice, is definitely going for James Earl Jones, for sure. And as an example, he's like talking about Spawn's new skin or whatever, and he's like, his necroplasmic body racked with pain, his memories fragmented, which I hated. Fragmented memories explains that he doesn't understand what's going on. It's just a way to give you more time for exposition because they don't know what they're doing. So they're like, we need to explain so people know what's going on in the movie. You never actually do. But the worst part of that line is his necroplasmic body is racked with pain.
Yeah.
So that's to set up. Now you're like, oh yeah, necroplasmic. Of course, guy's got a necroplasmic body now.
That makes total sense now.
Yeah.
I get it. You know who he sounds like? He sounds like the announcer for Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy on SpongeBob.
Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy unite. Yeah.
Exactly.
Number 5. This is Clown again. I'm sorry, but there's a lot of clown lines.
No, that's great.
Number 5, he goes. So you know the bike chase that happens out of nowhere?
Yeah.
A motorcycle chase that just starts.
Yeah.
Well, there's at the point where the clown is on the back of the truck, and he decides he needs another edge over Spawn, so he goes, "Time for some necro goo," and then just opens the tanker that's full of necro goo, whatever that is. So Spawn slips off of his motorcycle.
Yeah.
Okay, number 4 is Clown again. We're just going back to back. Just towards the end, for some reason, he comes into the house where Michael J. White as Spawn is with Wanda and Terry and Wynn, right? And the Clown goes, "I'm back by popular demand. As big as life, twice as rotten."
So bad.
Somebody help me. Somebody help me with that. What's the point of that?
He's big and he's bad, and he's got skid marks.
I guess to remind you, he hasn't been killed yet. I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. Okay.
Yes.
I don't know. You guys agree that that's like terrible writing?
Yeah.
Everything was terrible writing. It's hard it's hard to separate. Thank you again for doing this because I couldn't separate bad lines from good lines.
I write all the ones that really piss me off down, right? And I usually end up with 10 to 15. This one I had many more than that. So I usually go back through my notes and then just try to decide what's worse. You know, what's the worst one. Last week was easy because we had Matthew Lillard going like, "Oh, look at that pooper."
Yeah.
You know, that's pretty easy, but sometimes it's not as easy, you know?
I imagine you like wearing a fedora like an old press man and like just screaming into a tape recorder, like pausing every 5 seconds, just yelling it.
That's exactly what I do. I put on my note-taking fedora and I go for it.
Yeah.
All right, our first clip of the day. We're not doing as many clips for the worst dialogue because we're saving them for acting. because oh boy.
Oh, good.
Yeah, and plus I don't want to do as many accents. So our first clip of the day is called Viral Necroplasm. This is the third worst.
Okay.
So yes, Master and I are gonna have words. He knows I hate clowns. You gotta hate them. I hate them all. I hate Bozo, Ronald, Chuckles with their freaking dumb noses and their lousy party hats. I don't mind being short, fat, and ugly, but the pay sucks. What? Hey, easy with that face of meat. Oops. A wet one. I hope I didn't stain my underwear. Look at that. Skid marks.
Get away from me, you freak.
or coming from a monster that really hurts my feelings. Hey, come back here, bacon face. I'm not done with you yet.
Feels like my skin is about to explode.
That's just your viral necroplasm going through its larval stage.
Yeah, that's good.
Nope, it isn't. What is viral necroplasm? I think we kind of touched on this with Cagliostro before, but it's going through its larval stage.
Mm-hmm.
So he's got some kind of bacterial skin infection that becomes armor. Is that what we're taking away from that? Obviously, we clipped that entire minute because everything he said.
Yeah.
Everything he said was bad. Immediately after that, he makes a quip that wasn't so bad when actually Phil and I had like a little giggle, but he said something like, Spawn says something about his skin again, and then the clown is like, yeah, pretty soon you're going to grow hair in funny places and start thinking about girls. And I was like, all right, that's not
pretty good.
You know, the clown did have a couple of those. But for like, I'd say 96% of his dialogue, because he's got a shitload of dialogue.
Mm-hmm.
It's bad.
I wouldn't doubt that there's a certain portion that was ad-libbed. I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, when it's rapid fire like that, I think it's a telltale.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2, this is the clown again. I'm sorry. I mean, he did all the talking for the whole movie.
He did.
He's got 2 and 1, I'm afraid to say. But number 2, they're at the gravesite, and when Spawn realizes that he's actually dead, which is another loophole that maybe we want to talk about right now, his body is in the grave, but he's got a body, right?
It's his disembodied body.
Why does it have to be a burnt, crispy body if his burnt, crispy body is in the grave? Like, is that part of, like, you know, if I'm Satan or if I'm Malborgia and I want Spawn to fight for me, I'm not going to make him suffer for 5 years with burnt skin if I could just replace his body.
Right, but he's still coming from hell where you suffer eternally.
Yeah.
I guess so. Why isn't the violator? Why isn't the violator bacon then?
Yeah,
because he's a lieutenant.
Ranking, probably.
Maybe his viral necroplasm upgrades after he proves himself or something.
Yeah.
Who knows? But we're really in the weeds now. I'm going to get us back. He discovers his body, blah, blah, blah. And then the clown says, oh, someone's a little angry because they went, hello, my mutant, hello, my caucus, hello, my bug-infested corpse. You guys remember that line?
I mean, I tried not to, but I did.
He like sings it. He's like, hello, my mutant, hello, my caucus, hello, my bug-infested corpse. And then the guys like the Satanists come from behind him.
Yeah.
We're going to go to a clip now. This is the line again. This is our number 1 worst line of dialogue. I'm sorry, I just had to cut myself short because I don't want to wake up the kid. So clip 2, our number 1 worst line of dialogue. Take it away with that drum roll.
And what's it called?
Oh, it's called Violator.
The Violator. Oh, yes.
So you want to do it the hard way? I warned you. I'm just gonna have to teach you a lesson. No more clowning around. I'm not the vindicator, or the victimizer, or the vaporizer, or the vibrator.
Is he constantly being accused of being a vibrator?
Yeah, I mean, not in our experience. We never seen anybody call him that.
No, I don't understand the list.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand. No. You got to give it to Leguizamo because he's really trying to deliver that without all the like cheesy, melty, gooey nacho cheese he knows is in that line.
Yeah,
that's the worst. Is that as bad as Crap Lousy Ceiling, or is it worse? Is it worse than Battlefield?
I'm not the vindicator. I'm not the antagonizer, or even the vibrator, or whatever he's.
Yeah,
it makes no sense because that would mean that he had ranked through all those positions before becoming the Violator, and he had.
Yeah, right. Kind of like a Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. I just don't understand it at all. Like I don't have a half-assed explanation for it.
Yeah.
So I just can't fathom what they were thinking when they wrote that down. And they said, John,
it's all space fillers. Every single line, and it's either exposition or filler. That's the entire screenplay.
Like they had a script. Yeah, the script was like probably 25 pages, and they sent it to the punch-up room. And they're just like, add as many like poop puns as you can, and we'll stretch this to 90 minutes.
All right. Talk about how Spawn is burnt. Make jokes. Talk about poop. Make jokes.
Yeah.
That's it, man. I wanted to make an addendum to number 2. When he says someone's a little angry, he says someone is a little angry because they died and went to hello, my mutant. So it was like a continuation. So it was like a child rhyme kind of situation, which I totally flubbed. My bad. I'm just not on my game because this movie has me off. So hopefully I can adjust for that.
Fair.
Usually the first 3 tests, I'm a little iffy. But I'm about to get on my game here as we move into test number 4. The worst acting, right?
Yeah.
Oh, actually, before we do that, was the dialogue worse than Hackers? I say absolutely yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so we're going with Spawn's dialogue. I don't know if anyone's going to be able to beat the dialogue.
I don't think so.
It's going to be
it's going to carry on like at least 6 episodes.
Easily.
I don't know. The whole movie, maybe. The dialogue, it's hard to say. I haven't seen all the other movies yet.
Yeah.
The dialogue is, like you said, it's all exposition. And if it's not, it's just shitty jokes. Just terrible jokes. So how do you beat that? I don't know. Okay, so I jotted that down. So we're going to jump into test number 4, the worst acting.
Okay.
So it is what it sounds like. Not going to go into a very wordy explanation. We're going to compare the acting in this movie to the acting of Hackers. In test number 4, the worst acting.
Test number 4. The worst acting. Naturally, we'd use the Catwoman thing for this one. Yeah.
Okay. This test is all about one character for me.
Yeah.
There's one person who I'm going to target very heavily.
Okay.
And it is not Michael J. White. It's not Martin Sheen. It's not the Vindicator. And it's not the Violator. It is Wanda. With our first clip called Wanda. Take it away, Rob.
Sure.
Hey, Wanda, do me a favor.
Yeah.
Buy your man a watch.
He's on his way out. Now do me a favor.
What's that?
Make sure he's back for dinner tomorrow night.
I'll do my best.
Make sure he's back for dinner tomorrow night, Terry.
Yes, ma'am.
Is this a Weekend at Bernie's situation?
Yeah.
Is there someone in the passenger seat controlling her mouth? With like
She's on strings. Like marionette.
I was not expecting the Wanda hate to come out of this episode. Wow, okay.
Oh my God. You're gonna get it. You're gonna get plenty of Wanda.
It's only because Maggie Gyllenhaal's not in this.
She's just so bad. She's so bad. I'm glad that they tried to limit her at least. In Hard Target, the female lead was also severely limited on the number of lines that they gave her. Why bother? There's a million pretty faces out there. Get somebody who can deliver a line.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
Yeah.
Maybe they favor. Who knows? But number 2 is also it's called Cyan. Let's just get into it.
Cyan! You okay, baby? Huh? Terry! Terry!
I like children. Cry.
Terry!
What's going on?
I came out here and this man was lying next to Cyan.
You okay, honey?
Uh-huh.
What are you doing back here? Huh?
What is it?
Beat it before I call the cops, huh? Come on, get out of here.
Oh, there you are. I've been looking everywhere for you.
You should have called this clip Super Cyan.
Oh, nice. Very nice. Definitely a Dragon Ball Z reference there. I got it. I'm with you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she comes out the door, and before she even looks at her daughter, she's screaming.
That's the best part.
She's like holding the lemonade, comes out the door, doesn't like look at the direction she's supposed to be looking in, and she goes, "Fire!" And then she runs over and she's like, "You okay, baby?"
Yeah.
Terry! And then Terry comes running over, and he's like, "What's going on?" She's like, "This man's laying here. I don't know what's going on. I just..." And then she said, "What is it?"
Yeah.
And then Terry's not good either, but just the peaks and valleys of that performance, just right there, sums it up for you. We're going to move on from her. Who knows? Maybe we'll hear some more Wanda down the line. But we're going to go to just some guy, some doctor, after the shooting outside of the like big party that Wynn is throwing or whatever.
Okay, is this the one that's aptly titled "She's Dead"?
Yes, she's dead.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
All right, what do we got here, fellas? Gunshot wound to the head, Doc. Oh, she's dead. Come on. All right, let's go. Okay. Easy. There. That's it. Yeah, make some room here. Make some room.
What the fuck was that?
That's because he probably wanted to have a line. There's probably nothing written for him. He was probably just in the background with like a clipboard like this. He's like, "Can I just say something?" And like, just say what we already know.
That was the funniest part of the whole movie.
She's dead.
It seriously had me laughing so hard. She's dead.
It was so non-clinical too. You know, like time of death or anything. The no pulse. No, but she's dead.
Yeah.
Throw her in the spawn ditch.
Yeah.
All right. Number 4. We got. Somebody said that Martin Sheen was chewing up all of his lines and all of the scenery and every atmosphere he was in, and I agree. So we have to throw it to Martin Sheen with his little performance here in the clip called Martin Sheen. Rob.
All right.
Why didn't you warn me about Simmons? Spawn was ready sooner than I expected, so don't get your panties in a wad. Nobody's bitching at me. Why didn't you tell me about Simmons? Why didn't you tell me it was gonna hurt? Am I gonna go to hell? Oh, grow up, you sniveling ninny. At least you had fun compared to them. Fun? Does this look like playland to you? No. No, he killed Jessica. He damn near killed me. You say that like it's a bad thing. No, Jackie. Spawn's a big idiot. Look, he's been through hell.
Didn't it feel like Martin Sheen was trying to go for a very unnatural voice there? I just feel like his vocal performance was the same as the hair dye that he had going on. It was all like a way to mask his actual age.
Yeah.
Like he was trying to put a lot of vigor into his voice, and it just came across so unnatural. Like, does this look like playland to you? You know, just like that's not a sound that people make.
No.
Yeah, I've never been a huge Martin Sheen fan, honestly. I'm not sure he's much of an actor.
I'm going to go ahead and agree with you. I did like him. He's in The Departed, correct? He's like the lieutenant that like gives... He's got Leonardo DiCaprio's character under his wing in the police department. He and Mark Wahlberg.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And I feel like he's pretty good in that. Although that is not a flawless movie by any measure, but it is fun. And I feel like Martin Sheen's okay in there. And I just don't have a lot of experience with him.
Me either.
I think he's just not a great leading man because he was like okay in Wall Street as like a very, ancillary character. But yeah, as a leading man, I'm not so sure.
Yeah, right. I agree. And speaking of Charlie Sheen, I felt like he looked a lot like Charlie Sheen in this movie.
He did.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of weird to look at, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we got 2 more clips here, and then we're done with clips for the day. This one is called Wanda again.
Okay.
You worthless beggar! How could you let him kill me? Me! The most important thing in your entire freaking universe! You pansy bacon crisp! You should have killed him! Popped his head like a zit! Ooh, it feels
So good. And feel that fart. It feels so hairy. Oops.
Yeah, okay, so it wasn't Wanda the whole time, but yeah, it was. I mean, it was
Partly Leguizamo.
it was Teresa Randall, that was acting that out. And she's trying to do the Leguizamo thing, and she's terrible, so she was just so over the top. I didn't, you know what I should have done is looked at her filmography to see what she started for this, and I didn't. But I bet it wasn't anything notable.
I'm not trying to be mean on air, but it's like my wife Stacy trying to be mean. That's what it reminded me. I was just like, you can't do it. It's just, sorry.
If you're not,
you have so many other good qualities, but like that is not one of them. Like you're like you just can't. Don't have the meanness in you.
Right. No, I get what you mean. And that's a good way to put it. All right, last clip. This one is called Terry because Terry deserves some vitriol as well, I think.
Fuck this clip.
General Winter.
Mr. Fitzgerald, is it true that the documents you've uncovered implicate Jason Wynn?
Yes, that's correct. For the past 5 years, I unwittingly participated in Jason Wynn's illegal manipulation of the A6 in order to further his own personal ambitions for worldwide power.
Sir, what caused you so long to respond?
Mr. Fitzgerald, the Heat 16 bombs, are they still a danger?
The entire Heat 16 weapon system has already been destroyed.
Just a couple more questions. Just wait. Do you have any further comments?
Something I should have done a long time ago. The documents that I released to all media outlets will take care of all the rest of your questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Got a report reporting live with CNN.
Wouldn't they arrest him on the spot, first of all?
Yes, definitely, for his involvement. For lying for Wynn, most definitely. I guess they would have to then suss out how involved he actually was. But didn't you feel like that guy was just really, really flat?
Yeah.
I felt like, Bob, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's like the kid in class who's trying to read as fast as he can to be impressive, but then skips all inflection.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah, and he's not my least favorite actor, but he did a terrible job.
I agree. He's not the worst in the movie. That's definitely Wanda.
Yeah.
100% Wanda. But he's bad. I mean, if I watched his performance in that movie and I was casting for a real movie, after that, I would not cast him.
Mm-hmm.
I'd still cast him before Martin Sheen, though.
Martin Sheen was bad in this movie. He was
so bad.
Rob, what's going on with this ad situation here?
All right, I talked to the bigwigs. They provided a clip for me. They're trying to go more topical to get the ratings up. I think we're doing great, but I mean, you know, greed knows no bounds. So here's their little fucking stupid thing.
Today's episode of The Worst Movie Ever Made is brought to you by the new rockin' and sockin' video game, Will Smith Punch-Out! Little Willie, a 50-year-old fighter from West Philly, ranked number 3 in the minor circuit, works his way up through the rankings so that he can challenge Chris Rock in a dream fight at the Oscars. Will this fresh prince leave fresh prints across the face of the undisputed heavyweight champion for the title fight? Or will we find him wrestling his dog to death while crying like I Am Legend? It'll be wild, wild press to pass up on this button masher, Will Smith Punch-Out! It'll keep her name out your fucking mouth.
Because the Oscars.
Right. Very topical, these guys.
Yeah. Wow.
We know you didn't write that because you didn't watch the Oscars.
No, what though? The way the internet and the world works now, though, is you can't not watch like any like Super Bowl or Grammy or Oscar thing. You just need to. If you go on any social media, I have like one Instagram account and I go on the TikTok for the show, and it's just like that's all it was all fucking day, just him smacking Chris Rock in the face. So.
I'm a Reddit guy, and they're pretty good about the pop culture like avoidance thing, but it was all over Reddit too, you know.
Yeah.
Hey Bob, we're gonna head over to your new segment.
Nice.
Ooh.
Do you want me to do any introductory work here, or do you want to just take over from this point?
I'm ready to take over, but was there a bumper made or no?
Oh yeah. This is
The Worst Movie Ever Made presents Fact or No Fact.
Beautiful. Love
that.
Okay.
Real nice.
Okay. So we're looking at fact or no fact. So you guys are going to either compete or try to agree on which of these 5 bits of information is actually real.
Okay.
I went with a theme on this one, although I double backed a couple times thinking, no, I want to pick no, but I decided this was funnier. So here we go. These are all about John Leguizamo because he's my favorite part of this movie.
Okay. All right.
So John Leguizamo vomited frequently because of the heat exhaustion wearing that heavy suit. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Second, Leguizamo vomited after the first reading the script, but claims he was suffering from a stomach bug. He wasn't about the script. Okay. John Leguizamo vomited during the shooting, blaming the smell of makeup and prosthetics from his costume.
Shit.
He vomited after eating the worms dipped in sauce, after eventually finding out that the sauce was actually rotten. And the last one is he vomited immediately after eating the worm-infested pizza in that one scene.
Okay, so my logic on this is they all involve vomiting. So we need to rule out which ones are the least likely. I think the practical ones, such as the prosthetic smell and the heat exhaustion, are the most likely to be true. So if I had to narrow it down between those two, I'm gonna say like the weight and the heaviness of the costume is the fact.
I'm with you, Rob, but I'm going to go, just to make it interesting, I'm gonna go with the worm pizza, the maggot pizza,
because it had anchovies on it.
That for me was the moment where I was like, I know they're just going for the gross out trope, but it did get me. It did get me feeling a little nauseous. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Okay, so first of all, the heat was real. He actually claimed that the suit was way too hot, but he never reported that he vomited.
Okay.
He did vomit. He did vomit after the pizza because the worms were real.
Wow. The pizza. So I got it again.
Yeah.
I'm 2-0, baby. Let's go. That's what people say when they're excited. They say, "Let's go."
Chris.
Yeah.
That's a long flush.
That was a long flush.
Yeah.
So I'm glad I went with the all vomit because I at least tricked one of you this time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, and then we were saying what's at stake here. You want to bring that up, Bob, or should one of us just hightail into that?
Yeah, let's see if I can remember it now. I'm pretty sure if whichever one of you gets more correct, is that correct? Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's stakes for whoever loses.
Okay,
Right.
so whoever gets less correct after the season has to watch the loser of the season at half speed.
Yes, and I say that they also have to live stream it.
Oh, right, and you want to make it a something.
I want to make mine a mukbang.
A mukbang, I think.
I want to eat watch Spawn at half speed, eating like $50 worth of McDonald's, for example.
Okay, all right, but the stipulation, another stipulation is the other two need to watch the live stream though.
And comment.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
we need to have at least 2 viewers for the live stream.
The addendum was if any one of you guesses all of them, then I have to watch it. Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Yeah. Bob, I am keeping that hope alive.
Okay.
So far, you are.
Yes, I've got 6 more.
I gotta find some fact that's not on IMDb next time.
Oh, all right. Call me out. Call me out. I see. You think I'm a cheater? I see how it is.
Hey, that's not what I said. But I do know how to find cheaters.
Heavily implied. All right, we're moving on to test number 5, the most offensive. It is what it sounds like. We're going to deliver for you. Oh, before we do that, okay, I swear to God, I'm going to get this down. But what was worse, acting-wise? This or Hackers?
This.
I agree.
Spawn, because there are younger actors and Hackers, and I always feel like you can give them like a little bit of a bone.
I don't know who was as bad as Wanda. Is my measuring stick.
Yeah.
Like
Wanda was like flat.
Right. Like if you think back to Super Mario Brothers and all subsequent movies after that, we kind of went back to Dennis Hopper and his performance in that movie.
Yeah.
Nobody, like if you couldn't keep up with how bad he was in that movie, then you just lost the movie. So I'm kind of applying that principle with one. Like the worst actor in that movie was so bad that it was made for TV, but maybe worse. I think I'd rather watch like a Hallmark Channel movie.
Yeah.
Than watch Wanda.
Yeah.
So, all right, we've got that down. Test number 5 is the most offensive. As I said, we will just tell you all of the really, well, maybe not all, the worst, most offensive moments in the movie, and then compare those to hackers. Let's take it away with test number 5, the most offensive.
Damn it! I am tired of being Santa Claus! You get your together and you get your ass in the damn car. We're going. Now! Okay.
All right.
I have 8 things.
Okay.
I guess I'll go through them kind of quickly. You guys stop me, and then I'll ask you for mentions, of course. They don't give two shits. This is my number 1. They don't give two shits about Spaz.
No.
Yeah.
They leave him outside of the, like, so right in the beginning, Michael J. White and Wanda both leave the house. Spaz is outside the house. The front door is shut, and the garage is closed. There's a chance that there's a back door with, like, one of those little slots.
Yeah.
But the reason I don't think that there is because later they leave him outside of the high school and they say he'll find his fucking way back to the house.
Yeah.
Not
that
kidding.
was so bad.
And then Michael J. White, Spawn, leaves him with Zach and then tasks Zach with getting from Rat City to New York somehow. With Spaz.
Yep.
Just, like, come on. Why do you have a dog if you don't want a dog?
Yeah.
You know, just get rid of the dog. Give it to somebody who cares. Number 2, the North Korean virus released from a biolab. Just in today's world, feels a little tasteless. Number 3, his reaction to his own reflection was so bad that it offended me.
Yeah.
He looked into the puddle and he was like, "Oh, whoa, oh man." Yeah, if my face was burnt to a crisp. And I was feeling the kind of agonizing pain. I think I would have had the kind of like a Wanda's dad reaction where I'm like, no, you know, like something real, you know, like from the gut.
It's to quote Master Shake on Aqua Teen Hunger Force when they bring Carl back to life and make his body entirely out of eyeballs. And he's like, if I woke up looking like that, I would run to the nearest living thing and kill it. I think that's the fairest way to assess it.
Yeah, sure. I might if I was Spawn. Saw my reflection. Hiring that clown for your child's birthday party.
Yeah.
What the fuck are you thinking?
Yeah.
He is scarier than John Wayne Gacy.
Yeah, no, he definitely is. He's I mean, it's basically the Gacy paint.
It's very sharp.
Yeah, it's sharp, not round. It's angular, not circular, yeah.
That's what they said about Gacy, was that he liked to make all of his angles really sharp with his makeup, which looked more menacing than a clown normally would. Yeah. But it is a misconception that he never killed with the clown makeup, as far as we know.
No.
He just happened to, entertain kids at child parties and stuff.
He got busted for weed, too. That's how they found all the bodies.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I'm assuming that we're both last podcast fact spitting right now. Really good show, Bob. If you haven't listened to Last Podcast on the Left, if you like murder and find that kind of stuff interesting,
true crime,
true crime, it's good. Terrible fart jokes. We mentioned it already. So number 6, flippant usage of the word retard.
Yeah,
you should be probably, if you're making a major production, you probably should not be flipping retard around.
Yeah.
Not easily. We've gone into a little diatribe about that word and our thoughts on that word. And, if you disagree, email us because, we'd like an email.
It's having a comeback. If I gotta just say what I'm seeing out there, but I wouldn't say it.
As Bill Simmons would put it, a retardissance.
Yes.
Number 7, Wanda says, "What is that about Al Simmons?" Or it's Simmons, Al Simmons. Sims? Is it Sims? Now that I just said Bill Simmons, I'm like, I'm not sure. But anyway, he's laying there. This is the cyan clip that we played before. and she says to Terry, "What is that?" Like, it's clearly a human.
Yeah.
You know, that's pretty fucked up. And finally, Violator at the end says, "Hey, Wanda, what do you think of my little head?" I hated that joke. I felt offended by it. One last abusive shtick on his way out. You guys have anything you want to mention?
Yeah, you go first.
Only through research did I find out that Terry, that was played by DB Sweeney, the one that you know, the second husband, was written in the comic as a black character.
Oh,
and
okay.
He was only filmed as a white character because they didn't want to only appeal to black audiences. They thought having an all black lead would be bad, and I think that's right there
extremely offensive.
Yeah,
they're trying to make a white diversity quota. Is that what you're saying?
I'm like, I know that wasn't in the movie, but come on.
Yeah.
I'm writing that down so that we can use it next week. Kind of like our PP peeking Hard to Kill reference.
Yeah.
Our white diversity quota is going to be our comparison point for next week. Assuming that Spawn was more offensive than Hackers, what do you guys say to that?
Yeah, I think it was.
I don't know, an offensive scale. I feel like they're pretty tied. So I'll let you break this one, Chris.
I'm going with Spawn.
Okay.
I do think that Hackers had some pretty offensive material, but all the fart jokes and the repeated fart jokes and the like, I'm not 11 years old. You have to try to appeal to a wider audience than that.
Yeah.
Sends it over the top for me.
Good call.
Okay.
It was great when you were 11, though. I mean, like Maya Angelou once said, "It's not what people say or do; it's how they made you feel." And
sure.
I don't know. I felt pretty good when I watched it when I was a kid, but then watching it, like, it's one of those things. Like, it was like the clown was funny. He made lots of fart jokes, and I was like 9 or 10 when it came out. But I think that's what I'm most offended by is just how it actually wasn't good, and I was tricked because I was a dumb kid.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
You just quoted Maya Angelou during a Spawn episode.
And I was trying to find a way to shoehorn that in.
Who knew? All right, so I'm gonna throw it to the shitcoin now.
All right.
So I'm going to explain it real fast. We just get messages from people on Instagram trying to sell us on a pyramid scheme. It's not even Bitcoin. It's just a scam, and I usually answer back with a bunch of bullshit. Rob, do you mind if while you're pulling that up, if I go pee-pee?
No, go for it. Actually, I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna follow suit.
Yeah,
and
I don't.
I'm gonna edit out a shitload of dead air in like a half hour.
Okay, cool. Okay, if I didn't do that, the rest of the podcast would suffer. So.
Oh, it's all good. No, I got you. Sometimes you just gotta let the valve loose.
You gotta let it out.
All right. So, all right. If we're ready for the segment, I will play that beautiful bumper, and then we will. All right. So here we go. Here is the bumper. All right, and I am pulling up the screenshots. And I think you start this one, right, Chris?
No, actually, it starts with a Hello and a Wave from Debo, whatever, Diala.
What did I do? Let me just, oh, there we go. Yes, something happened.
Yeah, no worries.
No, I don't have a hello wave. I have a yo from you. Oh, there we go. It was cut off. Hello.
Got it. Yo.
How are you doing today?
Chilling.
Okay, cool. I'm Braley from Los Angeles, California. And you?
All bright Montpelier from the cold, hard streets of Cherry Hills Village, Colorado, bruh. What's good?
I liked the first one. It's a pleasure meeting you, buddy. Well, I was browsing and came across your profile. You look like a buzzines-minded person, so I reached you to share a business proposal with you if you might find it interesting. Are you open to business opportunities?
I'm always business 24/7, making straight ducats. What you got, partner?
That's good to hear. A-OK sign, buddy.
Birdman, that.
Well, I'm an entrepreneur. I deal on foreign investment exchange. I'm an expert Forex trader. I help individuals on how to make 8 figures weekly through trading Forex. Do you have clue about Forex trading and how it works, buddy?
Nah, dog, that sounds diesel. Damn.
Well, really, bro, you don't know about Forex trading. The Forex market, as I rarely say, is probably the only big frontier left where one could start small and literally make millions. Lots of people have been very successful through Forex trading, and others who are already successful keep their role of becoming more successful. Wow. It's a blessing and an opportunity for people all over the world to participate and generate income for themselves from home, work, school, or anywhere.
Nah, busy trying to get my album out.
Would you love to know more about it and how it works, bro? Lit.
Yeah, not taking dime from moms and pops. I'm out in the pool house mixing dime ass tracks.
Do you know you can make Do you know you can make good income within 5 days through trading Forex, and that can be very supportive to your work?
Snap, dog. Yo, you beating out there, huh, bro? I meant beastin'. You know how it be.
This is an opportunity given to individuals all over the world so they can be able to make passive income by themselves from home, work, school, or anywhere through trading Forex.
Yeah, damn. Show me what $1 do. Ha ha ha. Brr, brr.
Sure, I'm being an expert trader for years now, and I've spent lots of my time helping individuals on how to be ABCA to become self-independent and able to make income by themselves. With little amount of capital, you can make good funds in just 5 days of trade.
Ow.
For example, you made a startup investment capital of $100. I give you 100% guarantee that you will make income up to $1,100 within 5 working days. And the best part of the trading, you will be able to see your funds in your live trading account as it grows daily.
My moms can pops can suck it, because I'm making ducats, filling up them buckets with my Forex man Brayley from Los Angeles. Just riffing, Poppy. That sounds fire.
Sure, buddy. Lots of wealthy people you see there. So, as a result of involvement with crypto Forex trading.
Finest dimes I'm dating. 9s and 10s I'm rating. My parents' shame is fading, because I'm Forex trading. I'm fucking on fire. Birdman! Chilling by the pool with Brayley getting schooled. I'm trading because I'm cool, spitting fire. I'm a fool. Up. Cheep, cheep.
So are you interested on how to be able to make income by yourself through trading Forex? So I tell you the requirements needed to start the trade.
Brayley shooting info like a Beretta. Like a pimp out making cheddar. Trying to get me to investor in a pyramid of successor.
I see you aren't the kind of business-minded person.
Is it business? Is it pleasure? I'm like, yeah, Brayley, endeavor. I spitting on forever, trying to scam me, do it better. Blocking your ass and reporting you because you're a terrible person trying to trick me into giving you my money, which probably works on weak-minded, gullible people. You should be ashamed of yourself. Good luck sleeping.
What the fuck is Forex? It's like,
I don't know. I've never heard of it before.
I was thinking like Tupperware or some shit. The fucking...
Yeah, I'm sorry.
like cheddar.
Yeah, the cheddar.
Have you ever listened to Riff Raff?
No, actually, I have.
He's got a genius lyric. It's a nonstop through desert, Salisbury steak sweater. You figured I'm akin to Chester, the way I chase cheddar.
Oh, nice. Okay, I like the cheese cheetah or whatever. Yeah. I really was unsure as to whether we should do that shit. But we went for it. So, let us know in the comments, as they say. This is not a YouTube, but shoot us an email or something. Let me know if I should never do that, like, white guy who thinks he's ghetto from Colorado. So from the second wealthiest city in Colorado thing again that I just did. All right, let's do the catch-all.
Okay.
So this is where we're talking about everything that sticks out to us. We already talked about some of this stuff. That just doesn't make any sense, right? But I'm going to throw some tropes in there. I'm going to throw some CGI in there stuff.
All
like
right.
that. So how about the catch-all, Rob?
Gotta catch 'em all.
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to open a dialogue about the CGI because we haven't really explored this yet.
Sure.
I think that in 1997, it was bad. Like, really bad.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of another. Like, when was Independence Day made?
Like 97, 98.
97.
Yeah, it wasn't too far off from this movie. I remember like seeing them like both around like the same like grade in school.
It was 95 or 6.
Oh God, that's even worse.
Wow.
Right? I mean, I'm just thinking. Look at the. Not to bring up Will Smith again. God, let's try to avoid that. But look at the CGI in that movie. Right? I mean, it's for the year that it was made, pretty good. The CGI in this movie is so laughable. Like, I know that I liken it a lot on the podcast to video game cutscenes of past genre, past eras, but this was a Sega Genesis cutscene.
Yeah.
It's that fucking bad. Mel Borgia, the guy that we're supposed to be terrified of, who is like essentially Satan, is so laughable. So laughable.
Yeah. It's so bad. And I through my research, I realized that they almost had to double their budget just to get the CGI complete.
It looks like
I want to say it was like 20 million before they had to add the CGI.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it must have been because it was 40 million, so it must have been 20 before they doubled it.
Right. It looks like the video game Quake, the first Quake on MS-DOS on a PC. Like there's like this devil that rises out of lava. He's got like the arms and stuff, and it looked like that's like you could run that on a computer with like 156 megs of RAM. Like it's not very impressive like graphics engine at all.
It is not at all. It's the kind of CGI and it's the kind of script that makes you wonder whoever was in charge must have she must have spearheaded the project and had just a million yes men.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, that's what the whole movie felt like, was like some idiot had total control and everyone just agreed.
Late 90s, I feel like they had their finger on the pulse. So I think they're like comic book movies are going to be in, and they were a little early to the show, like because the Spider-Man movies came out like what 2002.
Yeah, it's not long after. Yeah, right.
And that's when the big bust happened. And then the Marvel universe started popping in like what 2005, 2006 or something like that. So I feel like they jumped the gun and they just didn't have the resources. But like I think they were onto something. But they just completely fucked it up.
Awful. All right. Well, in the interest of keeping this not too long, we'll probably bring up the CGI again. I know that I've got another two.
Yeah.
This is a one last job trope. Mm-hmm. It's snuck in there, but Al Sims, I think it's Sims, came to me as Sims.
Yeah.
He was on his last job for Win. He has to go to the North Korean biolab and kill everybody and shut it down. So that that's a pretty standard trope. Here's a good question for you guys. In fact, it's three questions in one. So let me just spit those out, and then I would like an answer from both of you. Mm-hmm. Or three. How was his body transported to Rat City? Why 5 years? And where did he get the bum clothes that he woke up in at the cathedral?
That bothered me because, like when Arnold Schwarzenegger traveled back in time for like the Terminator, for example, he was ass naked because you couldn't be clothed during the time travel, and it's like he was wearing like combat fatigues. Then he woke up in a flannel.
Exactly.
And do they ever mention whether Rat City's like a different dimension or if it's like just like in a slum somewhere?
Cagliostro calls it a holy place.
So I don't have, I'm giving you more questions. I don't have an answer. That's my answer.
I mean, he did wake up. Someone gave him a coat at one point. And
yes, that's true.
Was that the flannel, or was that?
No, when he wakes up after agreeing to lead the army for Malborgia, he wakes up at a cathedral in a torn up flannel with a jacket. He gets another coat to put over the top of that, but he also has pants and shoes and socks, I imagine, under those shoes.
Yeah.
So where he got all of that, maybe Cagliostro discovered his naked, unconscious body and decided to kill a homeless man, take his clothes, and give Spawn the clothes.
This goes right to my final segment of just complete lack of anything that logical when you're dealing with a superhero movie.
Yeah.
Yes, I think that the wild popularity of the Marvel movies, say what you will about them, is that for the layman, they are logically sound.
Yeah. No, I hear they're well put together. I'm not. That's not my thing, but I hear they're well done.
If you are if you're a quantum physicist, you're probably very annoyed by the time travel aspect of the quantum universe.
Mhm.
But being your average viewer, you can buy into it because it's vague, but they do a very good job. And shout out to Phil Gelano, my buddy. He and I were talking about this. This is where I kind of fleshed out this conversation, but they do a very good job of giving you the Jarvis medium where you're allowed to feel like you're smart too, because Jarvis does the exposition for you. But it all makes sense. In Spawn, literally nothing makes sense.
Right.
Literally nothing makes sense. It's very frustrating as a viewer. Maybe you really like the comic books. Those are the fans of this movie. And that's it. If you like the comic books a lot, you like this movie. If you didn't like the comics, if you didn't care, the movie was a 17, right, on Rotten Tomatoes. That's because 83% of the people that watched the movie were not Spawn comic book fans.
Yeah.
Most people didn't watch it.
So the specific thing that bothered me, it was the moment that he was in hell, and he was outnumbered by hundreds of thousands of soldiers. And suddenly he had the ability to zap them all with some kind of laser ray.
Oh man,
but not all of them. Like,
sing, brother.
Like it was a superpower that was only so super that he could destroy enough of them that they'd have to pile on him. But it was so dumb.
And then he flies away.
And exactly.
Yeah. All right. Well, while we're on the subject, it's Deus Ex Machina, right? It's the God in the machine. He also decides that he doesn't want Cyan, who I think is not his daughter, right? Steri's daughter.
Yeah.
We're to assume that's Steri's daughter.
I believe so.
He doesn't want Cyan to die when Wynn points out that she will if the virus is released. So he uses his fucking X-ray vision beam to pull the detonator out of Wynn's heart and destroy it with his eyes.
The amount of exposition they did for this entire fucking movie, for every little thing that didn't matter, they could have spent like 5 minutes explaining the fucking suit. And they squeezed in like the learn how to harness your power montage in like the third act.
Right.
Yeah. I also have that in the so I wrote no learning curve. Yeah. There is no, they could have gotten away with, and might have improved the movie, a little montage of him and Cagliostro teaching him how to use his racked by pain necroplasmic body. Yeah. His larval stage necroplasm. Yeah. Cagliostro could have walked him through that.
Your completely incisionless detailed surgery, maybe.
Yeah.
Yes.
How about, speaking of the daughter, did you do the timeline on the daughter? It's been 5 years. She's probably about 5. Was she born before, right when he died, or was she conceived as soon as he died? Or was, imagine your buddy dies and you hook up with his wife. There's at least 9 months plus, and then another 4 years.
This is the Castaway. This is the Castaway debate. So it's Tom Hanks is pronounced dead, and then she takes about a year. The timeline is maybe about 9 months to a year before she decides to start fucking his dentist.
Right,
and that feels wrong. This is worse. Because she must have either been cheating on him with
3 months pregnant. 3 months pregnant. She's not quite showing yet, and he doesn't feel bad icing him because he knows he's got a kid on the way. He's gonna have to explain it eventually.
And they're totally flirting in the driveway in the beginning.
Yeah.
So we're to assume they were.
All right. It makes sense only because they never make it clear that that's her father. It's more like they never make that bond between Spawn is her dad. It's always Spawn is just I'll protect you because you're a kid and you're my kid.
Which I didn't hate. I didn't hate. It would have been easier if it was his daughter, I think.
Yeah.
It would have complicated things. So I agree. Maybe it was the whole, oh, God, I hate that you're right about that.
It actually, because it makes it a worse movie. Like, it would have been more compelling if it was his daughter. They did it right if Terry and Wanda were cheating, but that means that Al Sims died and then found the will to live on after being turned into beef jerky because of the Wanda love that he had in his heart, but Wanda didn't love him back.
Yeah.
Which maybe he should have discovered, making it easier to let her go.
Right.
Anyway, we'll move on. The makeup for Al Sims as Spawn, I didn't think was too bad.
No,
it looks a little stiff. It looks a little Batman in the like cowl where he can't turn the like prosthetic on his neck very much, and it should have looked a little more fluid than that. It was another.
Honestly, they should have spent more time with the practical effects. They weren't bad.
Yeah, agreed. Although I will say, here's a question I have coming up. I'll try to just skip it when I get there. Did you feel like they should have just gone 100% CGI or 100% practical animatronic effect for the Violator scene when it's like kind of a hide and seek scene with the Violator? Because they go from CGI Violator to animatronic Violator. And it actually took me out a little bit more having both.
I would have rather the conventional animatronic, personally.
Yeah, but how? I mean, how with the budget they were given?
Yeah, the problem is that every time they went to the animatronic, it was clear that they didn't have the entire body built.
Oh, okay.
They had the head built and maybe two hands. Mm-hmm. So he can be led on a very straight line. Because the rig had the head and the hands, but nothing else, into the frame of the camera with fog to cloud the fact that there's no body. But yeah, Bob, I think you're right. That's all they could afford. But I'm wondering, should you either spend the rest of the CGI money on the body or ex-nay the animatronic and just make the whole thing CGI? Because you're going
even the CGI Violator wasn't bad. It was that main villain that was so bad.
It was so laughable.
That would have been better up as just like a disembodied voice. That you never
I agree. Yeah,
it would have been
the Jaws. You just don't see the show. Yeah,
yeah.
I completely agree.
Just eyes, if nothing else. Anything besides what they showed.
I want to just mention the Malbolgia and Cagliostro names. This is very Sorcerer's Apprentice. It's a parallel for me where the names are really bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
really cheesy. I also thought that the satanic ritual of the graveyard was not realistic at all.
No,
like there's three dudes like stabbing a pork roast.
It was three Matthew Lillards basically, like trying to be serious.
Priest leather and sequins outfit when she makes fun of Spawn's outfit was kind of ironic.
Yeah.
What was the point of the cape camouflage when he blends into the wall and then decides 2 minutes later when they still have the spotlight up there to exit the camouflage and then he breaks like the stone and he gets shot at again?
Yeah.
I figured that out later when they said when I forget his name always, the old white man. Yeah. When he explained that your thoughts will transform into action. Okay. Like I thought, okay, they explained that. But I thought it was so funny how after all that work, he slips on like a stone. I was like, whoops. Like it was so it was so bad.
You know where I thought you were going is after all that, including the stone slip, he can fucking fly.
Right.
Who knew?
All right. So if the body is in the grave, we mentioned this before, but if his body's in the grave, he shouldn't have a body. Rob said a disembodied body. That's I don't know. Have either of you ever seen Darkman?
No.
Oh, Sam Raimi, yeah.
Okay, Sam Raimi, yeah. This had very strong Darkman vibes to me, and Darkman came first.
Right.
Rob, actually check out Darkman.
Okay.
It's fun. I think it's Bob. It's a trilogy, right?
It is so good.
It's really I enjoy it a lot. Sis, my aunt, who I offended earlier by saying that I was going to sell the comics, then took back because I totally would never do that. She introduced me to that one as well. She's just my cool aunt that like gives me cool kid info when I was younger, and we still talk about stuff like this.
Sam Raimi has done nothing bad in my eyes.
That's fair. That's totally fair. I don't have enough material with Sam Raimi, so Darkman's about it. So
he was the first Spider-Man. He was the first Evil Dead. He was all that stuff.
Yeah, cool. Cagliostro out here trying to sound like James Earl Jones, I mentioned before.
Yeah.
The Violator hiding scene was just a time waster because they really spent 5 minutes on like a little chase scene where the Violator like there was like quick flashes like he was moving super fast or something.
Mm-hmm.
Really awful, just a time waster. What doctors would perform this surgery to implant the detonator?
Oh my god.
I got a vibe from like it was Breaking Bad or Better Call Saul where like the cartel had their own like surgeon on retainer for a stupid amount of money just for shit like this.
But they got a whole fucking team and an operator.
I'm not gonna give them that much credit.
Like any TV show where the CIA has so much power that pretty much every agency bows to them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No.
I guess Wynn and his team of assassins have that kind of sway. Who knows? Good move. Okay, I talked about that. Ambulances in Rat City. Is that a thing? Do you feel like that they have working hospitals, hospital staff, really good people out there saving the people who are assaulted by rollerbladers in Rat City?
I don't know.
No.
I don't know.
How about here's another CGI moment that really bothered me. The fast forward dynamics, a little theme of mine, of Cagliostro wrapping Spawn up in chains.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was all CGI nonsense.
And he never uses that skill again.
Yeah.
No.
It's like Flash Gordon fucking speed. He never uses again. I mentioned this before, but go ahead, Bob.
No, you mentioned the ambulances. I still understand that meeting that Martin Sheen had with all of the other like international people. Was that like a CIA like public? We're all world leaders kind of thing, or was that like a secret?
I didn't think
all
so.
Super villains kind of thing.
I think it was a super villains thing because he goes over to the men who are racistly draped in African robes who had suspicious accents, and he was like, "I'll have the virus bombs ready for you," or something. Like he was. I think he was talking about like the sale of this kind of viral weaponry. When it was all a sham because if he mentioned that if he releases the virus, it's going to kill everyone on Earth. It's that contagious and it's that deadly. Then why do more than one group of people need to release it?
Yeah,
right. You know what I mean? Say it was like COVID 3.0. Say it had like the death rate of something much more serious.
Yeah.
You wouldn't need to release it in many places. As soon as somebody boards a plane not knowing they have it, everybody on the plane is dead, and everybody who they communicate with after the plane ride. Anyway, none of this really matters. Okay, I mentioned that too. The clown launched by the explosion after the chase scene.
Yeah.
All right, what's more ridiculous? Was it the plague on a skateboard collecting the floppy disk, or was it John Leguizamo's clown being launched by an explosion in a very like flat and lifted from the floor on a what would you call that? Like a pulley system, where he's like, "I'll see you at Wanda's," and he's floating. I don't know what's cheesier. I
think the skateboard one is because that guy thought he was so badass. Whereas like what happened to Leguizamo was like circumstantial. Like the other guy showed up, he's like, they're gonna think I'm so fucking cool. Like,
right.
Get on the skateboard.
Fucking ridiculous, man. Seriously.
Yeah, I'll go with Rob on this one.
Okay. What is Spawn's X-ray vision, Bob? His lightning, his like fucking bullshit superpower. I wrote. I just wanted to mention that I wrote that too because it's so ridiculous. I
so
also
bad.
mentioned this before, but how did Zach get out of Rat City? Rat City's not a place on Earth.
Yeah.
Yeah, who knows?
He used the suit.
Was that a sequel set up at the end where Malbolgia is still alive and Spawn is like on the cathedral? Right, it was.
Yeah.
Okay.
So many movies of that era were set up for sequels that never happened.
Yeah.
Because they flopped, I imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I've got. You guys want to mention anything that would fall under the umbrella?
No, I just want to mention that I watched this entire movie from the third act on at 1.5 speed because I just couldn't fucking take it anymore. And it wasn't like growing up watching South Park. Who knew that it doesn't really affect how I hear it because they talk fast on that show. So
does it go up in frequency?
A little. It goes up like 0.3 hertz or whatever.
I'm imagining the clown like, oh my god, my farts are so stinky.
Sounds like that. Like maybe like half a suck of helium.
Rob, you want to? We're doing an alternate ending this week, yeah?
Yeah, so I got two. I mentioned the 1.5 speed thing because the first alternate ending is I watch the movie at regular speed and shoot myself in the head. Spawn will still exist, but hey, at least I won't. The other alternate is the Violator is actually John Wayne Gacy, and Spawn finds what most people would consider to be an unwholesome amount of dead kids under his floorboards. Violator gets killed by firing squad, which immediately backfires because the Violator's a painter, and the value of his work actually goes up because of his death.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
So just Gacy's story, but with the Violator, basically.
I like it.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Well, there's two to chew on, like Martin Sheen did the scenery. Bob, we're gonna move into your worst production, but I want to just as a warm up. I want to say the last week was fast edits to hide their logical issues. Was one of your gripes, correct? And they had 20 of the same extras in many of the scenes.
Right. So my first thing was not really production as much as writing. It was about everything about a comic book fantasy movie that I hate is that anything is possible when superpowers are afoot. Like all potential loopholes don't matter when the logic doesn't matter, you know?
Yeah.
Yes. Bob,
yeah.
I just wanted to pause you because I was wondering if Rob had a bumper for this.
I don't because I was still working one out. So
yeah, no worries.
Let me just
no worries.
hear once. We're gonna go with a doorbell. We're gonna go with a psst, and we're gonna go with an alert. There you go.
Oh, okay. That was like a Snake Plissken kind of freak there. Nice. Okay, Bob, I'm sorry to interrupt.
Hey, we need a bumper for the alternate ending then too.
Fuck.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, I'll get that going.
Maybe I can. Why don't you assign that to me for next week, and I'll come up with one, and I'll send it to Rob.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right.
I like it.
That way, he's a victim to my abilities.
Sweet.
So
I like it.
the major production flaw that I saw, and this may have slipped by because no one's mentioned it yet, was that its lack of scenery variety and complete fantasy premise. Like it was worse than Hackers in almost every way, but Hackers had like 3 or 4 scenes that it kept going back to. You know, like the whatever domicile they were in at the time, or the high school or whatever. But this really was just Rat City, some kind of dark, hellscape area, or something with Wanda in it, basically.
Yeah,
it's just
completely CGI'd hell.
Right,
yeah.
and that takes me to realize where the budget even went. Like I know it was $20 million for production and $20 million for CGI. That $20 million production, like Leguizamo was the only big name except for Martin Sheen, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but I just don't get where all that money went.
Maybe there was some space embezzlement.
Yeah. It's got to be or hell embezzlement or some sort of like stellar
underworld
intergalactic embezzlement.
We were to assume that Malbolgia is another name for Satan, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Maybe he has some, maybe he has something to do with the loss of American currency in situations like this.
Yeah.
Maybe he's buying up prostitutes and stuff.
How about the underbite that guy had? I couldn't understand. I couldn't understand what was so menacing about the guy that looked like every person that I didn't respect in high school.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was especially bad. I have a slight underbite myself, so it really hits home. I could have looked like that if it was more exaggerated. But I think they thought that for some reason that was intimidating because they also gave the violator an underbite as well, and it got even more exaggerated before he attempted to bite off Spawn's head. So I think it was there's an underbite mystique that makes you very masculine or very intimidating. I don't really know. Maybe it looks like you can hold your own if you have a very masculine feature down there.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I agree. I noticed also heavy underbite energy in Spawn.
We had a dog once with a major overbite, and the only superpower she had was not being able to eat large bits of food.
Oh no!
Oh, it's definitely not. And our son has an underbite as well, so I definitely know it is not a superpower. It is definitely something you have to see the orthodontist about. That's all I know about. It's going to cost me a lot of money in the future. That's all I know.
Yeah,
probably so. Yep. Unfortunately for you. Okay, so we're going to decide real quick on the production. Is fast edits to hide issues and 20 of the same extras in all of the scenes worse than scenery variety in or the lack thereof in Spawn? I'm wondering what production flaw hurt the movie more.
I mean, Spawn never felt like it went anywhere. It felt like it was just exposition upon exposition with it like really not going anywhere except for the fact that it had a CGI underworld to go to. Whereas hackers at least it seems like they were using whatever production value they had to attempt to transport you to one place or another.
This is where I go back to what I was saying to you, Bob, off air last week, where I think Hackers benefited from its pacing and its ability to kind of just get shit moving. Because I was able to hold on to Hackers the whole way through, whereas like Spawn stopped bathroom break, found I could fast forward at 1.5, and that's how I was able to get through it. Whereas like Hackers, I can sit down, I can watch Hackers again. I can sit down and watch Hackers again. And
I could do.
And have fun watching it, knowing how stupid it is. But Spawn was just an onslaught of insult.
This is what I said to Aaron before the pod started. I said I said this might be the worst movie we have ever done because our worst movie ever so far is Battlefield Earth.
Mm-hmm.
And I would rewatch. I can rewatch that now. I can watch that. I just think it's hilarious. There's nothing about Spawn that I ever want to see again.
Yeah.
I never want to watch this movie again. It's not funny. That doesn't have anything to do with production. So I'll bring it back real fast. I do feel like they used some of their money to block off some really nice scenery. Like they actually shot in Grand Central Station.
Mm-hmm.
They really did. That must have been expensive.
Yeah.
Right. They really shot in the streets of New York, or at least in a city that was major enough to look like New York. They had to use a lot of money to block off a street for a day.
You had to shut down commerce for a day. Yeah, like the entirety of commerce on those
right,
roads.
Exactly. But to back up your point, Bob, they actually went there and they did that, and they had their little Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Foot Clan knockoff underground arcade game place, which was just another place that the movie happened. And there were many different places with a lot of different texture. They're walking by a fountain when, what's his face? I can't think of either of his corny names. Crash Override and Acid Burn.
Crash Override, yeah.
They're actually on their date and they're walking by a nice fountain. And they give you different feels, different textures, different colors, stuff like that. But yeah, Spawn is just in 3 places, and they all suck.
Yeah,
all suck.
All right, so we're gonna give it to Spawn, then, right?
His little secret cabinet where he keeps all his firearms.
Yes, his CGI'd cathedral firearm stash.
When he went back to it at the end, I'm like, oh God, again?
I know. Yeah, honestly, you got a suit. What do you need that for? All right, cool. Let's do bad credit names, and we'll compare the movies. We'll go home. We'll
Cool.
try to knock these out quick because we're running a little long. Bad credit names. I couldn't get a lot. Did you guys see the credits at the end?
A little.
So it was
I gave up.
It was extremely frustrating. It was like they were running the credits in a theater in Bangladesh during a hurricane or an earthquake or something. Like every single line on the credits was mixed up, and it was supposed to be an effect that looks very 90s cool and like kind of like it's been burnt or singed by the fires of hell or something really cheesy like that. So it was actually really hard to read. So I don't have a ton. That's my little diatribe there. Starting with, I'm going to give you a couple a couple people who have already appeared on the bad credit names, but I can't let them go. Michael Papa John.
Yeah.
Greg Smurs.
Okay.
He's also returning. SMRZ is his last name. No vowels. SMRZ. Smurs. Solange Schwalb.
Okay.
I can barely get this one out. Dairy Frost sounds like a place you might get a cone. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
On the subject, Anders Beer.
Okay.
Sounds good. I'm gonna go have one.
Right.
Yeah.
Stuart Lou, which is only mean because then he probably goes by Stu Lou.
Yeah.
It's a little How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
Yeah.
I've got two more. These last two are pretty good. John Angry Johnny Walters.
Is that in quotes though? Or
yes, Angry Johnny is in quotes. Imagine if that was his
actual middle name.
All right,
role?
This is the number one. I don't even know if I'm going to get the proper reaction for this one. This is the worst I've ever read on any credits running of any movie. Mitch. Okay, I need a second. I need to shake myself out of a second.
Okay.
Mitch Baron von Splooge. Dude. I'm not.
Baron von Splooge. Is it like a U with an umlaut or two O's?
It's two O's.
Oh God.
It's even better.
It is even better. Okay, we're gonna compare these movies now. Okay.
Yeah, let's do it.
Spawn wins. There you go.
All right.
All right. I'll for you, the listener. I will go through the numbers. 5.2 and not the worst for Hackers. Surprisingly, not the worst on Spawn either, but a negative 25.4, winning the first category. All right. Plot pitch, interesting. For Hackers, Bob said no. Rob, you would make the movie. A 2.5 star on my plot pitch.
All right.
For Spawn, Bob, you would make the movie. Rob, you would not. A 2 stars. So Spawn takes that one. Dialogue, Spawn wins.
Mm-hmm.
Acting, Spawn wins. Spawn is more offensive.
Okay.
And the production flaws of Spawn are more glaring and hurtful to the film. Do you guys want to add any extra demotions? Anything not said? Anything that you feel like we should mention about Spawn before we go into our wrap up here?
I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
Okay.
It's you know what dad jokes are, or what people think dad jokes to be. It's the clown. It's dad jokes, but dad jokes aren't supposed to be puns. I think people conflate that with dad jokes, but really, what a dad joke is like it's like 25% wit and 75% rage, and like 90% of the time you say something that doesn't make sense. Like you're like I was like fixing like the fucking heating thing on the dryer, and like Stacy was talking to me, and Bowie's like, popcorn, Daddy, I want popcorn. And I stopped and said, if you don't stop, I'm gonna turn you into a popcorn. Like it made no fucking sense, but like I feel like that's what dad humor is.
Yeah,
and
sure.
I feel like the clown was just like he was just like, I did it for the halibut.
It was bad.
I love to say I would love to see Clown in almost any other movie with half the lines.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because his character was fun, the actor was fun.
Yeah.
And he was just put in the wrong movie.
Yeah.
And they said, you gotta say these lines. And he's like, oh, damn it. And that's Spawn to me. Is a good character in a bad movie.
It was the clown's movie. They shouldn't have made him the Violator.
Yeah.
They should have made him able to like summon any like gun he wanted at a moment's notice or something. They shouldn't have made him like a demon or something. They should have just had him like pull a bazooka with skid marks on it out of his ass, or something like that. Would have been way better, way funnier. It definitely was John Leguizamo's movie. I think he did the best out of everyone, and I thought his makeup was good. I thought the clown like face makeup was believably not like that's what his skin, like his demon skin, looked like or something. It was kind of cool, honestly. So I do feel like he was the best element, to give them credit. And otherwise, I think the movie was a complete fail. It was maybe my least favorite. It's tough to say. Senseless is up there for my least personal favorite. It's so I don't know. We'll see how it compares. It was a clean sweep for Spawn.
Yeah.
Hackers was bad, man, but Spawn was way worse. We'll see what happens next week. I want to thank the listeners and throw it to Rob for a little website mention. I say
sure. And before the website mention, speaking of next week, I believe the poll was in favor of Inspector Gadget with Matthew Broderick, right?
Thank you. I can never remember to mention the next week's movie, but yes, Inspector Gadget next week. Thank you guys for that. I want to thank Bob and Rob for putting up 2 ridiculously stupid movies. I'm not looking forward to this.
And then just for all things worst movie ever made, visit us at theworstmovieevermade.com. That's where you can find our streaming, the email, the socials, all of that good stuff. And I'm not going to list them off anymore because the website does it for us. Theworstmovieevermade.com. Thanks for listening, guys.